Welcome back. Let's go to some money matches now. South Africa's ongoing challenge, economic conditions have increased. Well, the need for consumers to borrow money to cover day-to-day living expenses. Finding yourself deep in debt can be quite overwhelming. Being in debt brings additional stress of constantly, well, knowing at the back of your mind that you have to pay it off sometime. For more insights on how to reduce debt, hopefully, and manage your credit, we're back with Cassidi Beck, Business Development at fintech Payflex. Cassidi, every time I speak to you, it's bad news for the pocket because somehow we just never learn. We continue being in debt, even when we thought COVID-19 had helped us stay at home, save up the money. But most of us are already saying January is not even here, and already I need to speak to a loan shark because it's rough.
Hi, Tubbs. Yeah, I think last time we chatted, it was we were talking about Black Friday, and it seems January. I always say it's the longest month. It's the 42nd of January is far away, and we're all struggling financially already. So, yeah, if all the little tips and tricks to help us out, our debt traps and credits, it all goes a long way.
Let's start right there. I mean, some companies have already, paid off, they executed their salaries for the month ending December. January, as you said, goes on to about the 62nd of January in my household. So it is going to be rough. Already people are weighed down by debt. What plans can we start trying to implement to pay off credit in order to enjoy some feeling of control, although they will never come easy once you're in debt, but once you start working on it, maybe there's a lifeline and there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
For sure, and I think that's such an important starting point, is saying, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we have to start somewhere. So I think it sounds so simple, but if we can put a plan together to pay down our debt, it's the most simple starting point, but it's a starting point. And from there, we can get our mind around debt, understand that it is something we have to do, but hopefully, we get this attitude that it's possible, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's something at the end of the day that can be done. And it will take its baby steps. You got to start small, you got to start somewhere, and you've got to be patient. But the biggest thing is put a plan down, and we can get there.
I mean, South Africans in general, we don't have a history of being good savers of money. We always live on credit now and then. It's a huge issue, and I'm sure you sit there sometimes, you scratch your head and you think, how do I get it right? As somebody who's within the space, how do we get it right? I mean, where does one start?
Yeah, it is, and we say it again and again and again, and unfortunately it is a continuous problem. But that's why at the end of the day, it relies on you as a consumer. It sounds so simple, but not spending more than you earn. Look at your budget, look at your flexible, your non-negotiable. Something simple like, if you have to stop every morning to get that takeaway cappuccino, make a thermal mug at home and save 30 bucks every morning, and the next thing you know, you've saved 200 Rand in a week, and put that aside, save it for a rainy day, and at the end of the day, that all goes a long way. So I think it's so important. We just keep reminding the consumer, to budget, to plan. It's simple things, and it's their responsibility.
A lot of people as well would sit back and say, look, there are options out there. There are, companies would call you and say, look, are you in debt? Can we help you? Come sign up with us. What are the pros and cons of signing up for such? We do know that people would say, look, give us your debt. We'll give you one sum of money. You pay off all your debts. You can lock yourself into some hard times, but sometimes that's what you need for the relief.
No, you're right. So sometimes that is what's necessary, but we do recommend to consumers to try avoid that and stay away, because at the end of the day, that can actually just land you in more trouble, which is what we see more often than not, actually, which is why we go back to the planning, the budget, holding the responsibility on yourself, and really kind of exhausting all your options before you go to a loan shark or whatever the case may be. Yeah, because credit's expensive, and at the end of the day, it could just land you in more trouble.
What about these debt review companies? I mean, sometimes you get a call, if you're filling in an application, have you ever been put under debt review? Just give us a rundown. What does that mean, for somebody who's sitting there and could fall into a trap of actually signing up for something like that and not realizing what the implications would be for them?
Yes, so I think once again you want to stay away from things like that, because consumers, the minute you hear someone's going to put you on a debt review, give you a helping hand, once again it lands you in more trouble. And we see people really taking advantage of consumers that have inundated themselves with debt, which is why, again, just to stay away from things like that.
I'm going to ask you for look into your crystal ball, as you normally do when we end up our conversations. Your tips on how to start creating a debt-free 2021. We know there's already talk of possibly another stringent, I'm not going to say a lockdown. I do not want to put fear into people's minds, because that's not what's happened. But as we stand, the numbers are going up, and the reality is something has to be done to try and curb the spread of COVID-19, in particular with the second wave. People are sitting there. Should we start panicking like we did when the first wave hit us, or what do you think we should be looking at, knowing what we know now of what COVID has brought onto our pockets?
Of course. So I think the biggest thing is don't panic. The worst thing to do is panic. No one panic. So very simple. 3 kind of NB points is save for a rainy day. Once again, look at your flexible and your non-negotiable costs. And every time you save something, put it on a side, so that if you get into a debt trap again, you've got that saving that can be used for that purpose. Something like increasing your income. If you've got worthy skills that people need that they are lacking, any simple skills, use that to earn extra money that you can once again put aside and grow your income. Don't spend it on things that you don't need. Use it wisely. That help you build up your savings. And then the last one, we always tell consumers, become a savvy shopper and really maximize your cash liquidity, and find out where the best deals are. Try buy things you only really need. Don't waste your money. Prioritize, control your impulses, and just 3 simple rules like that, and you can help take control of your life and get into the positive mindset that it is something you can control, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Cassidi, I'm still waiting for your insights on the best stores to get new laundromats for my household. You said you're going to come up with me and tell me where to get all those goodies. You still haven't sent them to me. But anyway, we have to leave it there.
Okay, I'll send.
Cassidi Beck, Business Development at Payment Fintech Payflex. Thank you very much indeed. Always a pleasure speaking to you, and hopefully people do take on your advice and put something away for a rainy day. As you know, uncertain times we live at right now, in particular with COVID-19 on our shores.
Thanks, Tubbs, for having me. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, Cassie. Bye-bye. Now, Journey Zen.